Okay, we're back on another Tuesday doing a LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live, and we're talking today about what's the deal with all these QR codes and why should we care about this? So, Janet, do you want to explain how we even started talking about this? This kind of was a fun conversation we just had.
Right. Well, I've been noticing of late that everywhere I go, and when I can go out somewhere, that I'm finding these QR codes everywhere. And especially while we're down here in Cabo, we've been here for, 5 weeks already, and it's 2 more weeks to go. And I've noticed them at the resort. I've noticed them when we go to restaurants. Even when we were on our plane ride from Kansas City down to Cabo, we actually had to scan a QR code when we were in line at checking in, and that was for us to fill in a form that we then had to take a picture of the results at the end, so that when we got to Mexican customs, that we had to show them. And so, since I started to see this everywhere, I decided to do a little research about this and find out, like, what's up with all the QR codes and why is it happening? So first of all, I got to tell you a funny little story. So I first looked up. So I'm being Google Goddess number 2. I'm not going to take the first rank on
I anoint you.
That's right. Was that the QR code was invented in 1994 by the Japanese for the automotive industry.
Huh.
And that basically what it is, it's a readable optical label that has digital information behind it. And I think they've been used by a lot of other countries other than the United States, because if you recall, you did a blog about this a couple of years ago when
Yeah,
you were
because
in
it was in
Scotland.
Scotland, everywhere
And they
in
were all
Scotland.
over the place, but they
Those
weren't
Scottish is so smart.
they really weren't a big deal in the US. Though, however, we have used them a couple of years ago because we've always liked QR codes and thought they were great. But I think now, because of the pandemic and the no, don't touch anything, right? And a virtual world, that QR codes are like really have become in fashion.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be really good for us today to share that with our audience, that maybe they need to be taking a look at QR codes and seeing how they could help them with their businesses, because this is huge. And particularly like with this no contact. So, for example, I just want to give you this. So, this is in our room. This is in our room, and you might say,
Yeah,
well,
you should say where you are, because nobody knows what that means in your room. They don't.
Okay. All right. So we're at a resort in Cabo. So I'm not going to tell you the resort, but everybody might show up here and say, "Come on in. Can we crash? Yeah, can we crash your party?" But we're in Cabo and we're staying at a resort, and this was in the bar, or on the bar, in our kitchen, and on it, so you can't really read it. It says "In Villa Dining Menu." So if I click this, and probably if anybody's like probably grabbed their phone and they're looking, you can probably see it right now, because that's the beauty of these, Gillian, is you don't even have to be live. You could actually do it through Zoom call, or even here on this streaming on virtual. And this has actually their spa menu and their in-room restaurant, and also their events. So like if there's volleyball and ping pong tournaments and blackjack things and movies and things. So all of these are on here. So this is kind of cool. And it's in plastic. So, they can just clean it for you and they can leave it for the next person. The other thing is, because I'm in Mexico, for my return to the United States, I'm required to have a COVID test, and I have to have it within 72 hours of returning to the States. So the resort, really smart idea, obviously, said, well, we need to provide our residents with the information where they can get the test. Well, they actually are going to do the test right here on premise for us. They actually have a nurse that they've hired to do that. But this was also in our room. So this, and I don't know if you can see that, but basically it says scan the following QR code, input your information per person, and then it goes into a WhatsApp. And then WhatsApp, this is like intriguing, right? They're using WhatsApp, but we also know that WhatsApp is very popular, more so outside of the US than inside.
The US is not really using it. It's very popular outside.
And then from there, I can go ahead and schedule my appointment.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't have to go to the front desk. I don't have to see anybody. I don't have to stand in, and I don't have to put myself at risk. And I certainly don't have to put anybody else at risk. And that's the whole point, is putting the staff at the resort at risk, or not at risk, obviously, because that's important too. Because if the staff gets sick, well, then, you know, we're all in trouble.
Absolutely.
So I thought it would be good. So I've shared a couple of places where it's used. But then when we go to restaurants, when I've asked, can I use your Wi-Fi? They whip a QR code.
Wow, that's awesome.
Or they've given me one that says, would you give us a review? Would you go to TripAdvisor? Would you give us a review of your restaurant?
That's smart.
So I started to do, as I said, I started to do some research on, well, where else can you use these QR codes? But then I also remembered that a couple of years ago, I did a presentation at the Global Entrepreneurship Week. And if you remember, I didn't just do one presentation, I did 4 presentations during that entire week. And so I thought that was, well, that's another story, but there was 4 PowerPoints, and there was all the handout material. And you and I decided that rather than me sending them an email with all of this information, you know, and then, you know, now I got to download and do this and that and everything, I gave them a little postcard, and on it had a QR code. And all they had to do was click the QR code, and I handed them out so, you know, they could take them home with them, or they could do it right there. And actually, some people actually did do that, because they said, well, we don't want to lose the card. Right. So they actually went and did it right then on the spot. But the brilliant part about this, Gillian, was that in order for them to get the information, they had to surrender their email address.
It was a list builder. It was an email
list. It was a list builder for me, because I didn't want them just to grab my information and go. I wanted to be able to connect with them afterwards. And we tagged it so that we knew when people then joined our newsletter list
where they came from.
And we could send them a separate email, a follow-up email, just to those people, thanking for them for coming to the event. And, you know, did you enjoy the material, and how can we further help you? So there was a good follow-up process on that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. And you have to think about it too, like kind of QR codes came out a couple of years ago, you know, quite a few years ago. And a lot of people were like, they just, I don't know, they just kind of didn't really do anything. But I think at the time it was like our phones hadn't caught up with the technology yet. So you had to go and get a QR code scanner, and it's like, this is too hard. I don't want to do, you know, it's like, as soon as people have to start downloading stuff, they're like, I don't want to do it. But now with the technology of modern phones, if your iPhone or your Android is like a couple of,
or if you have a flip phone,
if you're a flip phone,
forget about it.
Come into this century, please. Come on. It's like, we don't use telex anymore either, but nowadays you don't need an app. So if you see a QR code in your hotel room or on a screen, you literally, all you have to do is you just go to your camera, you just put the camera app, you hold it up, and it goes boop, and it pops the information in. So you don't get easier than this. This is so simple, so simple.
Right. And there's so much information that you could have embedded in that QR code and where you want people to go.
Yeah.
So, and you're right, you could put it on your website, you could put it in your social media, you can put it on your printed material. The other day I saw one, we were walking past this art gallery, and they had a little QR code necklace hanging off the pelican. And it had all the hours and information about the art that was in the art gallery. Wow. So you can be so innovative. If you've noticed that when you go to the grocery store today, there's a little QR code at the bottom, and that's for you to do a survey. And then usually they entice you by giving you a coupon.
Yep. No.
So there's
and
so
like when I was
ways.
in Scotland, I noticed people were putting QR codes on, you know, when you can do something for your car, like your company, and you put like a banner on your car or something like that. That's what they were doing. They were putting QR codes on, because they know you're not going to type in on your phone, www, you know, such and such bakery.co.uk. It's like, my fingers are too fat. I can't type that all in. So a QR code, oh yeah, I'm going to go to Manuela's Bakery. That, you know, I'm in. So it's so easy.
And you
so
you could have everything about your business in there. So so that's the other part. So now we've kind of talked, Gillian, about the, you know, why you want to have a QR code, because you could have it for a PDF, you could have it for reviews, you could have it for join my newsletter, you could have it for all your social, you could, you know, even I talked about the Wi-Fi, flyers, pizza boxes, receipts, stop, you know, signs on your door, whatever. So let's talk about, well, how do you get one of these? How do you get one? Because I do.
So this is LinkedIn. So we'll start with LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So everybody on LinkedIn has made you a QR code. You might not know this. This is kind of one of those like best kept secrets. You're like, what? Yeah. And yes, we are not just a number, we're a QR code to LinkedIn. And I just did a masterclass before our LinkedIn Live today, where the final slide was, which so many of us do in a PowerPoint presentation. What do you do next? Connect with me. So I'm telling them to connect with me on LinkedIn. So are these people going to type in linkedin.com/in/Gillian? You know, they're not going to do it. So what I did was I took my LinkedIn. Here, I can actually just pop it right up here.
Show them what it looks like.
See what it looks like. So there it is. So let's see if I can zoom back out and we can maybe see it a little bit better. Sorry, I'll maybe move.
Can you move the banner? Can you move the banner at all? Because the banner covers it.
Let's see if I can get the banner to hide. Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
So there you can see. So instead, here's me peeking around my QR code. So this is what LinkedIn gives you. So I actually, for this, I put follow me on LinkedIn. But this one with my picture, it's got your name. It's going to have your headline that you have on LinkedIn. And then here's the QR code. And then what's awesome is this was what I put on my PowerPoint slide. And then people could just take their phone. Where am I? Over here. It's always reversed. Take a picture of it and go right to my LinkedIn profile. Like easy peasy. So if anybody's watching this, pause it and go check it out. Just take your phone, open up the camera app, aim it at the screen, and you'll be like, why am I not doing this? This is an awesome thing. This is an awesome thing.
I just think that's so unfair you didn't put mine up there.
I'm sorry.
I know.
So the question is, so how do you get that? So if everybody's got this LinkedIn personal QR code, how do you get it? Well, we're going to show you how. So let me share my screen. So
isn't everybody going to be glad that they watched this LinkedIn Live and they're learning all these awesome secrets on QR codes?
I hope so. So here's a little sort of a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a PDF. And if you want it, I'm going to let you even download it afterwards using a QR code. How cool is that? So basically, you have to get it with your phone. Is this showing on the screen, Janet, just in case I'm not doing it right?
Yes.
So you have to, you can only use your phone to get it. So unfortunately, you can't get it off a computer. So you got to have LinkedIn on your phone. Make sure it's updated. So if you don't use LinkedIn on your phone too often, make sure you've kind of refreshed and
just as a side note, you should be up to date with the LinkedIn app, because there's so many things you can do on the mobile app that you cannot do on the desktop. So
yeah,
totally, you know, I love doing those audio messages.
Those voice notes. Yeah, you can only do those. You can only do those as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you do. So on your phone, when you're sort of looking at the news feed, you're going to see this like little sort of like 4 little dots up at the corner, up at the top here in the top right corner beside the messages. And you're going to click on that and it's going to bring up your LinkedIn QR code. Now there's 2 things. there's a tab for scanning and a tab for my code. So you're of course not going to see your face, my face, you're going to see your face. So it's going to show your LinkedIn QR code. And then you have a choice down here. I can share it. So you can email it to people, you can text it to people or whatever, or you can save it to your photos. And then now it's an image. It's a PNG that you can now take that image, and you even have the option of just the QR code or the QR code and your picture. So I kind of think it's good to do the QR code and the picture, because otherwise you're going to have this QR code and go, what the heck is this? I don't remember. So anyways, that's how you get it. So then it's on your phone, and then you can either, you know, email it to yourself, however you get stuff off your phone, get it to your computer, and there you're good to go. Throw it in your presentations or whatever you want to do. Now, if you click on the scan option, you could scan somebody else's. So if you were out and about talking with somebody and they're like, oh, you're on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn, we should connect, da, 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 da. You could say, well, here, pull up your QR code, and then you can pull out your phone and scan it right then and there. So, you know, if Janet's out wandering around Mexico talking to storks with QR codes, if that QR code, you know, if that stork was on LinkedIn, he could flip out his QR code, Janet could scan it in and connect with him. So that's kind of easy peasy.
Well, and when we get back to world after COVID, when we can go back to live events, because we were doing this at GEW, because we were doing it back then, you know, we were all talking to each other in little groups and saying, hey, we should connect with each other afterwards. And we whipped out our phones, and that's exactly what we were doing. Yeah. So don't think about this just for now. Think about how you can use this code for afterwards. So it's, you know, one day when we can actually be within 6 feet of each other.
Absolutely. And then the reason why I have this on my thing is I couldn't get the screenshot, because as soon as I went to take the screenshot, it was like, it was scanning. So what happens is, as soon as somebody does scan in that QR code, this is the final product. They go right to your LinkedIn profile. So it's just like, whoa, that is just so cool. So cool that
and then they can go ahead and connect. Then you could go ahead and connect. So that would be
so if you like that, I'm going to bring that up. Look at that. Get the cheat sheet. So so what you can do is take your phone, take a picture, like, you know, put the camera on, and you should be able to just take a picture of that QR code, and it will bring up that PDF, which is just in Google Drive. Test it out, Janet. Tell me if it's working.
I'm doing it right now. Woohoo!
And it should pull it right up.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Download the cheat sheet. So, like, how cool is that? This all
and you didn't even make them surrender their email address. What was wrong with you, Gillian?
I'm so kind. I'm so kind.
You are, because you could have asked for that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And by the way, and here's the other thing is, when you pull it up, Gillian, now you'll see the little down arrow. So now you want to download it.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll lose it, because that's kind of like one of the negatives, is you got to make sure that you download it. So now here I have it, and I can,
and it's a PDF.
And it's a PDF. So that's awesome.
Cool.
We're
so bright. We're so bright. We're such bright ladies. So the question is, okay, that was LinkedIn. What if I want to have a QR code for, say, my website, or maybe I want them to go to my, you know, email marketing list, or maybe I want them to watch a video on YouTube, or, you know, who knows? Think about whatever you want it to be. Look at all the information that way that Janet was talking about that was done through QR code. So how do you make your own custom QR code? That is the question. So I kind of put in the teaser of our thing today. You can do it using a program that you might already be using that doesn't cost you anything. I have the pro version, but I don't believe you need the pro version in order to do this. So that is Canva. I love Canva. Canva is just like my best friend. You know, if you weren't my business partner, Janet, it would be Canva, because I love Canva. I love it that much. So let me whip you over to Canva now. So I'm going to share my screen. doing the share screens and hoping I'm doing them okay. So just always let me know if I'm not in the right place. Okay, Janet?
I'm loving StreamYard.
Okay.
You know.
So do you see my screen okay?
I do. It says, welcome, Gillian.
All right. All right. So I am just going to do, it doesn't matter what design I'm doing. So I'm just going to do a regular, let's just do a presentation for, it can be anything. So it really doesn't care what kind of thing. I'm just showing you the process.
Would you use a thumbnail? Would you use a thumbnail maybe?
I would suggest that I would use LinkedIn's QR code as a good size. So
I see. So follow their size. Okay.
Yeah, follow their size, because I think that's a really nice size. And off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. I'll go and research and I'll Google it and I'll put it in the show notes below, or I'll just look at my own QR code. But I'm thinking probably like 500 by 500. I'd use a square. So, you know,
you could probably do a video on how to make a QR code and post it in LinkedIn.
Here, let's just do 500 by 500 just to start with. You can only do this on Pro to resize your things. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So anyways, use a square. That kind of makes sense. And this is how you would create your QR code. So you come to Canva and then scroll down where it says more, ... more. Do you see that, Janet?
Mm-hmm.
That? Okay. So you click on that. And look at this. There's all these cool things. This is the secret inside Canva of all these other things that they have. And what is this? A QR code. So click that. And now enter in your URL. So I'm going to just go and grab my website.
Gillian, we're not seeing anything new.
You're not seeing the QR code?
No, we're not. We're still on the welcome, Gillian, create a design. And so it didn't go to the next.
It didn't carry me over. Okay, so let me go back again. So now I'm going to share my screen, share screen. All right. And I'm just going to do, let's see if I can do Chrome tab, Canva. Okay. Okay, what do you see now? Welcome, Gillian?
Yeah, I see welcome, Gillian. I see Zoom virtual backgrounds, and I guess, but I'm not seeing you create anything. It's still saying create a design. So maybe we can't show them here, and you'll just have to do a little video, and we'll put it somewhere else.
Let me just try one last thing. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share my whole screen, and it will look weird for just a second. And so look away. So I'm going to do the entire.
We're looking away. We're looking away.
It's always kind of weird when you do that, but then if I quickly there. So now, do you see my Canva screen?
And we see a blank post. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to just go back one step just so that you can see that. Okay. All right, because I want you to see the whole thing. So I'm going to create a design, and we'll just do presentation again. And I'm not going to worry about the size because it's really about making the QR code. So I'm going to go down here where these 3 dots that say more. So
yep, we can see that now. Yep, we can see that on the left-hand side.
Okay.
On the bottom. Yep.
Okay. And now here is what opens up more from Canva. So access to even more amazing, cool things. So look at this. You can get Pixabay and Pexels and emojis and all these things. I'm going to just do QR code. So if I click QR code and then I do this, and so URL, so I'm just going to put my website. So HTTPS.
So the trick behind this is you want to put in a URL to something else because that's what you're linking it to. So it could be a landing page.
It could be a Google Doc.
It could be, but you've got to be sending it to somewhere, a Google Doc.
It's got somewhere on the web.
Some URL. Okay, got it.
So then I click generate code, and there's my QR code.
And so if anybody clicks that, it's going to go to wherever you just put in that URL.
Right. So if I go ahead, I could use Canva and make my design, right? So if I was going to an event, it's like I could say, visit launch can never spell when you're trying to show something to somebody. Visit Launch for Life, and there's the QR code. And then I can download this, and I can add a graphic, so I could now come over here, and it was like I could add this guy. I don't know what he's doing, but I could add this little guy, and
so you could use it as a graphic, as a LinkedIn post if you wanted to, if you wanted them to sign up for a webinar or something like that. So
anything
wherever you wanted it to go.
So go ahead and try
really
that.
Awesome.
Try that, Janet. See if you can actually point and click and see that.
All right. Move, and it tells me to move closer. Move closer. There we go. It just opened up.
So how cool is that? How cool is that?
Very cool.
So okay, now I got to
stop. And it opened up right into our website.
Yep. Wow, so you can't get easier than that, folks. You cannot get easier than that. That is so cool. That is so cool. So I love Canva. I love Canva. It's just so easy to use. So easy to use. So QR codes, I'm for them. What do you think?
Well, I love them. And of course, we have a QR code because we use it for our business card, because I was just thinking, I just talked about all the different codes you can have. But, what if you had one QR code for everything?
Right. Which is what we have with our Let's Connect.me, which allows us,
which is a whole virtual digital hub. It's got everything in there.
Right. So that you don't have to have multiple. It's like you think of it as having one QR code door that now goes to something where now you can have, here's my website, here's my YouTube channel, here's my LinkedIn, so that, when I was on the presentation today, instead of just saying connect with me on LinkedIn, and my presentation was just about LinkedIn, so that's why I did that. But I was on a presentation the other day, and I started telling them, okay, I want you to get the download from today. I want you to have my YouTube channel. I want you to have this. I want you to have that. That would have been so much to send them to. So I just gave them my QR code from my Let's Connect.me, and then it went to everything, and then they could see all the stuff that I have, plus a video. So kind of cool stuff.
It's totally cool stuff. So anyways, if anybody wants to know more about that, we can certainly help you with that.
There you go. There you go.
If anybody wants one like we have.
So wrap up. QR codes, I think they're so important. We now have the technology that we can be using these so easy peasy to use, and just think outside the box. And just remember, every time you're doing things virtually or sending stuff to your clients, I love the idea. Like, for instance, one of our clients is a chef, and we suggested putting a QR code on his receipt, on his, a thank you note, right? And we said, put your QR code that goes to your Google My Business page, because that's a horrible honking URL to type in. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to Google My Business / this, that. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. So you have to make it easy for people. And if they can do something like that and give you like a 4-star review or 5-star review, whatever it is, your book, if you're a writer and you're going to have some sort of like, oh, I have an offer, I want you to go now take my online course, and I offer this free thing. You're writing a book, put a QR code in your book so that the reader can sit there and say, oh, awesome, I want that freebie, not going, because people are lazy. They're lazy, and they have.
I think it's fantastic. I'm very thankful for the Japanese auto industry for creating the QR code. I think that was awesome. And I totally think the QR code is something that people are just not taking advantage of. And some people are. So the question is, are you somebody who's going to use the QR codes for your business and actually help your business, or are you going to just say, oh, forget that and move along? Well, you know what? You may be left behind. We have to look at these QR codes are leaving a digital footprint, and that's what you want to have happen for your own business. So we will now call the QR code, which stands for Quick What did I tell you it was called? Quick response code. Quick response code.
Who knew that? Like you could now be in a little trivia contest.
Right. But my point is now your QR code is going to leave a digital footprint for you. And that's what we are looking for today. Everything is digital. If you're into digital marketing, and we all are, that's why you have to have a QR code. So we really hope that today's little LinkedIn live session has been useful to you. And if you did, would you leave some comments for us? We'd love to hear from you and know how we're doing.
It goes out to the networks, and so your people will see it. So if you even if you're watching the replay, that's okay. Just leave a comment. We know how squirrely these LinkedIn lives are. They're kind of hard to sometimes get to the comments. But if you can leave a comment, then the word gets out to your network, and then other people can learn about these cool strategies. So good stuff. Good stuff. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, we'll see you next time. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Oh, we got a guest next week. Ooh, we're not going to say who, but it's somebody you're going to want to know.
Yeah, very big, very big. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.